So it turns out the showrunners for House of Dragon did not want to do another TV show just full of white people. Let's get straight into it. So yeah, that is right. The showrunners of the Game of Thrones prequel House of Dragons have literally come out and said they didn't want to do a show just full of a bunch of white people again. Hence why they have race swapped one of the families in the show. Now we're going to get straight into this article, which is written from the quotes from the showrunner of the show, and we're going to talk straight about what is the hell is going on with this show. So this article is actually on the insider.com. As always, I would always suggest, with every article you read online, take it with a pinch of salt unless it's got direct quotes. But yeah, in this article, what's going on is the showrunner's obviously been asked some questions about the show and why there was race swaps, and he's basically just come out and said why. So here's what it says. House of Dragon is the first of many planned HBO Game of Thrones prequel series that will explore more corners and time periods of author George R.R. Martin's sprawling fictional universe of Westeros and Essos, and it will introduce the first major house comprised of black characters. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, co-showrunner Ryan Condal explained this reimagining, and he and Miguel Sapochnik made to the original books. It was very important for Miguel and I to create a show that was not just another bunch of white people on screen, he told Entertainment Weekly. We wanted to find a way to put diversity in the show, but we didn't want to do that in a way where it felt like an afterthought, or worse, tokenism. First things first, that's exactly what you've done. If your main goal is to come out here and try and force diversity into this show, that's tokenism straight away, because it wasn't natural. It didn't organically come to you. You were just trying to find a way to put some black people in the show. Now, it baffles me that you're saying diversity, but you've only put black people in the show. How's that diversity? What's the difference between that and white people? Nothing. This is what I've always been saying about Hollywood. They don't care about diversity. It's nonsense. If you really wanted diverse, why did not any other race but black people? It's always just black people. I mean, no offense, maybe it's just the skeptic in me, but I do find it a bit, baffling that all these big franchises, when they want to race swap, it's just black people. It's not. They don't care about diversity. When was the last time you heard of a big Asian superstar or Native American Hispanic superstar? Oh wait, you ain't gonna find one because they don't exist. Anyway, let's continue with this article. House Valerian features prominently in the political drama at the core of House of Dragon, which tells the story of House Targaryen's fall from prominence after a civil war that left the family decimated about 200 years prior to Daenerys Targaryen's rise to power many generations later. And basically it just goes to explain all about the family. And then, and then there's another quote here. As revealed in the Entertainment Weekly article, the decision to show House Valerian as the first black family with significant power in Westeros came from Martin himself. According to Condal, Martin toyed early on with the idea of depicting the Valerians as black conquerors who came to Westeros from the west. The lack of diversity both on screen and behind the scenes of Game of Thrones has long been discussed criticism of the fantasy show, where nearly all of the major families in Westeros, with the exception of the poorly developed characters from Dawn, were portrayed by white characters. Alright, so let me get into this. In these fantasy novels, Lord of the Rings, The Witcher, Game of Thrones, and many, many more, I don't know if people have noticed. Yes, they're fantasy, but in the time period that these fantasies are set, is it now? Is it modern? No, it's set in a time period where most people didn't venture out of their country. So in these worlds, black people would exist in the black countries. They wouldn't have been in white countries. Black people's first experience outside of Africa was slavery. It says everything you need to know. So based on where the time that these would be set in, and the aim of the clothes of the world at the time, there wouldn't have been any black people in these white countries. So I don't understand this obsession with diversity, because that's what it is. It's an obsession now. Because people are going into the studio, and instead of putting their head down, writing a fantastic story, their first thought is, okay, how can I push diversity in this story? And that is where you lose the viewer, because you're pushing a narrative before you're coming up with your great story. It goes on to say, nearly all the people of color on the show were also given the backstory of coming from the same place, the Summer Isles, Save for Missandre of Narth, then Missandre's death in season 8 led to renewed conversation about the show's handling of black characters. Well, first of all, Missandre is not black, so, you know, we can scrap that, because I hate to tell people, just because you're brown don't make you black. You know, I'm brown, I ain't black. I'm half black, half white, and I'm pretty sure the actress who played Missandre is the same too. Fans will have to wait and see how this brand new set of characters are given backstories and dramatic arcs of their own. House of Dragon premieres on August 21st. In the meantime, you can read everything you need to know. Yeah, whatever. So basically, House of Dragon is actually set on in a book. There's a book that you can read that is basically explains. It's basically what the show's about. You know. So if you want to read up on that, go check it out. Just search Game of Thrones books, and it'll be the first one that comes up on Amazon. But yeah, I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. You can have diverse characters in your show without having to force it in there. It's not necessary. Write your stories, let them grow, and then you will find that you have got these diverse characters there, but you just didn't even know it because you were concentrating on the story and not trying to fucking please a few Twitter keyboard warriors. And it's where people are messing up right now. They're trying to please these keyboard warriors and not focusing on their own stories, and that's where it becomes a mess. I mean, I'm not even going to get into the Resident Evil show that just dropped on Netflix. I got a video coming for that nonsense. But anyway, guys, that was today's video. What do you think about this whole House of Dragon and Lord and Power Rings shit? I mean, because it is shit right now. I mean, everyone's going on about diversity, and even people my color, darker, and other races, they are banging on about it. Me personally, I don't care. I grew up loving Spider-Man and Wolverine, you know, and not once did it ever occur to my brain as a child, oh my god, they're not my color. I can't go around thinking I'm Spider-Man anymore. I still went around thinking I was Spider-Man. There was no Miles Morales when I was growing up, you know? Kids don't give a shit. Representation is not as important as everyone seems to think. I mean, everyone's going on like there's been no black characters in any productions for the last 50 years. It's like, what are you even talking about? There has. I mean, everyone's talking about, oh, Marvel needs to have representation. They done a movie a few years ago where the whole cast was black. How many more do you need than that? I don't understand why everyone in Hollywood feels like they've got to shove in all this diversity for unnecessary reasons. You can create diverse characters without that being the beginning of the production. Right, let's go and write this show. Right, how many diverse characters are we going to have in it? Just write the characters, and then whoever auditions and blows you away gets the job. You don't have to write a diverse character. Well, anyway, man, thank you for watching, and if you do like this video, please click that like button. If you didn't like this video, let me know in the comments down below. I don't mind. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.